So in his position as a freed man, he was called from time to time to come in to speak on behalf of the African American community. He got a call in something like 1872 or 73 to come to Jacksonville, Florida. The federal government was setting. In fact, you told me some things about this I didn't know until today, David. Conducted an investigation of the Ku Klux Klan across the South. Is it okay if I share this that you've just done? And the reason was twofold. They wanted to find out what's going on with the Klan. The Klans were beginning to rise in the late 1800s. But the Republican Party also wanted to make sure that black folk were able to vote, and that the Klan wasn't preventing people from voting, because the Republicans wanted to make sure they stayed in power. So they investigated the Klan to make sure that black people were able to vote so they could vote for the Republicans. Well, so they called Charles Rollins to come to Jacksonville to testify at least one, maybe more, hearings during this investigation. So this is now the Klan is beginning to rise. There are some lynchings beginning to take place as the Klan rises. And here's Charles is making this trip across all of North Florida, which is dangerous territory, several days' journey, to come to Jacksonville to testify. That takes a lot of courage to do that. He also came because he was a prominent farmer, and Booker T. Washington had a national organization of farmers, mainly in the South. He was one of the leaders in Tallahassee. He came to participate in those. So he came to Jacksonville on a number of occasions. One of those occasions, he brought his son Noah, who was born in 1855. Noah was 10 years old at emancipation. He brought his son Noah. Noah liked Jacksonville. He liked the city, and he liked the people, and he liked the opportunity to get some work. So Noah got a job at the St. James Hotel, same hotel, as a waiter. So Noah gets to like this job, and he forms a relationship with Campbell, and Campbell owns some hotels in New England. So Campbell, this white guy owner says, why don't you come up to my hotel in Boston and work up there off season? So Noah winds up in Boston. This is my great-grandfather. So it feels like the Shirley and I were called to be here, because this is too much of a synchronicity to think that some random series of events just had this happen. And so I don't want to get too deeply into the mystical part of this, the spiritual part of this. But so that's the story. It's a different kind of lynching story. If it hadn't been for the lynchings going on here, and the fact that Noah left because he wanted to get out of this area, which was dangerous area. So he went to Boston. If it hadn't been for the lynchings and the violence here, and the awful things that were happening to African Americans in this state that lynched more per capita than any other state, if he hadn't left and gone to Boston, I wouldn't be here.